some polish on that the next time you come here. Good afternoon, members of the media. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are going to be addressed by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Darren Simons, as well as Detective Chief Inspector, Mr. Jason Smith, on the issue of drug seizures for the past year. We're going to hear first from the Commissioner, and then we're going to be provided with some additional information by D.I. Smith. Commissioner.
So, good afternoon, Bermuda. As Mr. Moreno indicated, I just want to give a little bit of highlights of some of the activity, drug seizures that have occurred over in 2025. So, during 2025, through our sustained efforts to target some of the highest harm causers, the BPS has recorded significant successes in the fight against illicit drugs. This has resulted in major seizures, arrests, and successful prosecutions. Throughout the year, officers seized illegal drugs with a street value just shy of $30 million. And without a doubt, this has dealt a substantial blow to those persons seeking to profit from this crime. I want to make it clear that drug trafficking is directly linked to gun and gang crime. And targeting drug trafficking also disrupts those persons involved in some of our most violent crime. Just as important, this activity prevented these drugs from getting into the community. This helps protect our community from the harm directly associated with drug use. These operations saw 29 persons arrested for drug-related offenses. Of those arrested, 11 individuals have been formally charged, with 5 convictions secured thus far. Now, I hasten to add that where we can, we will also seek to take the profits out of those crimes by seizing assets of corresponding value. So in other words, at a high level, there's been $30 million worth of drugs seized. There's the potential for us to look to recover $30 million worth of assets for those people that have profited and or been convicted from this crime. These drug seizures reflect the hard work, dedication, and professionalism of our officers. They continue to work tirelessly to disrupt criminal enterprises at all levels. Each arrest, each seizure, and each conviction represents a step towards a safer community and sends a clear message that the Bermuda Police Service remains relentless in its fight against crime. These successes were as a result of intelligence-led policing, targeted enforcement, and a strong collaboration with Customs and the DPP to ensure that offenders are held accountable and justice is served. But a big part of this is you, our community. It's through your information, your assistance, that we're able to bring many of those responsible not only for drug importation, but for crime in general to justice. And for that, I say thank you. It's been proven time and time again that when we work together, we make Bermuda safer. And I would just like to invite Detective Chief Inspector Smith to share some additional details.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. As the Commissioner has stated, the seizures that have been made in 2025 is as a direct result of the collaboration and the efforts of our officers. These seizures have taken place at the ports of entry, some of the ports of entry, and also through proactive policing, which was intelligence-driven, made up of various officers, various units within the organization in the fight against drug dealing. Some of the drugs that have been seized, they range from cannabis, possession, cocaine, diamorphine, fentanyl, and various forms of THC, particularly the gummies and so forth. And those seizures, as a result of those seizures, in 2025, about 211,000 $103.56 has been seized from the proceeds of crime. What I would like to say is that the Bermuda Police Service, in its efforts and in its fight, we have and we will be running parallel financial investigations to those who have been arrested for these offenses. As an organization, we have also undertaken to not only to update and to inform and train our officers in understanding the proceeds of crime legislation, but we've also produced an aide-memoire to assist our officers in this fight. And what that means is that we as an organization will be utilizing every tool, every legislative tool to make sure that we police our island, that we keep our island safe, and so that our citizens can enjoy a safe Bermuda for all of us to live. As the Commissioner also stated, a lot of these seizures is as a result of collaboration and of partnerships, and in particular partnerships with our community. And I would just like to continue to encourage you that as you are out and about in your daily activities, that where you see areas, that see criminality, where you see drug dealing, we ask that you would make contact with us, because we do know from our lines of inquiry as well that drugs and the scourge of drugs on our island often correlates with some of the antisocial behavior that we see committed in our streets, and it is our duty to do what we can to protect our societies. Thank you.
Any questions, members of the media?
Yes. Commissioner. CNN News understands that the scanner at the docks, I don't know if this is within your remit.
Well, you started with scanner and dock, so probably not.
Well, when drugs are seized at the docks, your officers are called in, so I'm sure you have some type of correlation with the docks. But we understand that the scanners at the docks are not working. Is this a concern for you?
So I'm gonna direct that question to the collector for the detail around that. But certainly, we want to make sure that every bit of technology and every avenue to investigate, prosecute, help with interdicting is available to us.
There seems to be a large quantity of fentanyl on the streets. Are you alarmed that this dangerous drug is still getting in to different ports of entries in Bermuda?
So definitely, the presence of fentanyl is, concerning. And, fentanyl in particular, which is an even more stronger form of regular fentanyl, and that presence is very concerning. We're doing everything that we can to interdict those operations, and any information that we could possibly get that's going to help assist us in those interdictions is appreciated. But it is, to answer your question succinctly, it is concerning. We've seen a lot in other countries where people can very easily die as a result of exposure to fentanyl. So it is a particularly dangerous drug. One wrong episode of the use of fentanyl, and there can be deaths.
Do you have any data to indicate or to disclose what are the more successful months that you have seized drugs? Because we know that the warmer months with the sailboats and the ports of entry over the sea is more easily accessible for those that are in the game.
So as I stand here before you today, I don't have seizures correlated by months. I can say that historically we have seen importations, major importations, particularly around sailing vessels in the first quarter of the year. But generally speaking, I think drug seizures can be all around the year. And you've asked the question, so I will look to just correlate it around months to see if there is, in fact, a more particular month. A lot of these are intelligence-led operations, so we will get the intelligence. We're conducting an investigation and developing that investigation. It just happens when it happens. We get the information when we get the information, and investigations are launched at that moment in time.
Lastly, what is the amount of firearm seizures you seized over the last year?
I think that's 8. I would rather get back to the data and give a definitive answer on that. I don't have that exact number off the top of my head with certainty.
Mean the number somewhere between 8 and 10. Are you pleased with the seizures?
Yes. I think it could be around 8 to 10, yeah.
Thank you. Elisa Bernardo with Bermuda Broadcasting News. Thank you for your remarks, Commissioner and DCI Smith. You noted that the street value of illicit drugs seized is near $30 million. Is this more than the previous year?
So, I mean, it's a substantial amount this year. I mean, there's definitely ebbs and flows to our ability, not our ability, but just the amount that we interdict, and it's a significant amount this year, absolutely. Or in 2025, yeah.
Okay. And what new trends are you seeing in the types of drugs being seized and their methods of importation to the island?
So, I mean, largely, it's very similar methods of importation. So anywhere people goods are coming into the island, there's the opportunity to conceal illicit drugs. I think, as Mr. Lindsay had highlighted, fentanyl, it's not a brand new thing, but that is on the newer side of drugs, but you've got, your heroin, your cocaine, marijuana, is the primary, and sometimes, MDM, we'll see, Molly, ecstasy, we'll see.
Understood. And you also noted the link between illicit drug seizures and the impact it has on drug-related crime. Are you able to give us any kind of specific examples of what this seizure has sort of eliminated that could have possibly been done to the community?
So, I mean, there's one is just the impact of drug use. When you have a lot of drugs and more people, or just people consuming that drugs, that I think can impact families. It can impact, just the broader society, productivity, et cetera, et cetera. The link that I'm trying to create is the link between seizure of drugs and particularly gun and gang related criminals. So our ability to disrupt them, whether they, incarcerate them, that kind of stuff, just generally disrupt that criminal activity is, that link is something that I want to make sure is in the minds of the community, because a lot of times, community members will think, well, what's the big deal with the drugs? People are always going to use drugs, et cetera. And there is some of that. Like, I get that. But for us, the individuals that are involved in gun and gang crime are almost always involved in drug trafficking. So it's another means for us to disrupt, deter that activity.
Okay. And just lastly, you said there were several factors cited in the success of the seizures. Was there one contributing factor that really stood out to you?
I suspect if you analyzed each and every one, you're just going to find a multitude. We're getting it in Bermuda. We're getting it coming into Bermuda from people's homes. So it is, I wouldn't single it down to one single factor, but I would just hasten to add, as we've shared here today, that a key enabler is information from the community. Nothing's going to be, hey, Johnny's bringing in drugs. This is the way that's happening. Nothing is going to, enhance our ability to interdict more than the community's, assistance around that criminality, that crime.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner, thank you for your remarks. As I'm sure we can all imagine, when these gets more successful and drugs like this become more scarce, sometimes people can get a little bit more desperate. Are police expecting a bit of a reaction, whether that's just policing operations like this to be a little bit more difficult when it comes to drugs for this coming year? And if so, how are police kind of shaping their tactics, if at all?
So I think it is a point to make that when there is scarcity, that can create tensions, particularly amongst gang-connected individuals or drug-importing individuals. So we can say that sometimes when there is scarcity, that can cause some additional tension between they call it rival gang members, rival sort of drug dealers. So they may try and steal either the money or the drugs from somebody else if they get wind of their, if you like, competitor. that has additional drug. And certainly we are always monitoring for that kind of increased tension and doing what we can to respond. And hey, while I'm at it, if you know a rival drug dealer and you want to put them out of business, give us a call, because we're here to help in all kinds of ways.
I see. Well, thank you for that advice. And I guess on that similar note, will police be looking forward to have any other further training planned for their officers and how to tackle this, or even just any other sort of crime?
So we, in terms of training and stuff like that, we have a ton of ongoing training. It's several years now, but the backlog that was created by COVID has really created this push around the drive for training. As Chief Inspector Smith mentioned, some additional training around proceeds of crime. So that's about taking profits out of criminality, seizing assets, etc. And it's not just, let's say, the financial crime that are involved in doing that kind of stuff, but we're really trying to get the whole organization, into that energy and effort. So, you might have people on the street that are seizing or stopping an individual involved with drugs. It's also looking to see what they could possibly recover in terms of assets. And I suspect Mr. Smith might have a little bit more. If I put you on the spot.
Yes. As I said earlier, we will be conducting parallel financial investigations. And so that is targeting those who are benefiting from their proceeds of crime. As the Commissioner mentioned, we just recently had some training in the UK on money laundering offences. And that was good opportunities and training for us and learning how to utilize the proceeds of crime. And so that is going to be an active part of our financial investigations, that when we arrest people for these drug offenses, that we also conduct parallel financial investigations so that we can look at the assets. And again, that is all in line with dismantling and taking away profits from those who are committing criminality so that we can deter them.
Any other questions? Yeah, one other question from Mr. Smith. There's a commissioner stated reference to information looking to receive. Are you seeing a trend of individuals that are jammed up? I'm going to call it how it is. Individuals that are jammed up with being arrested for drug importation, snitching on other. Have you seen this trend?
Referring to providing information.
Providing information, just the street terminology, providing information to basically get unjammed.
Well, I would say that I wouldn't say that that is any trend, neither that's anything that we would like to comment, but all information that is available, we certainly do welcome. And that's all part of our investigative tools that we like to use, is the information from the members of the community. And as the Commissioner just said, if you do know of someone, we're here to listen.
Thank you, members of the media. Any other questions, please feel free to email them to us, and we will provide a response as quickly as we can. Thanks again.
Now, Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.